So right now in Alabama, the prisoners went on strike. Yes, the prisoners went on strike because the prisoners were tired of working all day and earning $1 an hour and having horrible conditions in the prison. Let's go ahead and roll that clip.
This is video of a large group recently gathered outside of the Alabama Department of Corrections headquarters in Montgomery. Some in the group have loved ones in a state prison. Others have been in prison themselves. WVTM 13 spoke with 3 women whose husbands are incarcerated.
The guys are striking. They're tired of it. They're fighting for their freedom. They're fighting for their rights. They're fighting for humane treatment. They're fighting to be treated like human beings.
Organizers of the Break Every Chain rally have a list of demands for Department of Corrections officials, including an immediate repeal of Alabama's habitual offender law, a repeal of the state's drive-by shooting statute, mandatory parole criteria that guarantees parole for all eligible inmates, and to end life without parole sentences.
We have to be their voice. We have to be the ones that are going to, bring it outside to the press and in front of the public eye and let them know that just because they have committed a crime or just because, they are in prison, that does not mean that they do not have constitutional rights.
Alabama Governor Kay Ivey responded saying, quote, "Some of these demands suggest that criminals like murderers and serial child sex offenders can walk the streets, and I can tell you that will never happen in the state of Alabama, where we always prioritize the safety of our citizens."
The Department of Justice is still not stepping in and doing anything. They're still not being held accountable. And Kay Ivey's solution is 3 new prisons to hold more people. No, that's not the solution to the problem. How about real rehabilitation, real education programs, that produce productive members of society?
To pay someone $1 an hour for work and you're working 12 hours a day is wrong. I don't care if they're in prison. Doesn't matter. They should be paid a federal minimum wage for their work, just like the rest of us. They have constitutional rights like everybody. Just because you went in jail and you're doing your debt to society doesn't mean that you shouldn't get paid minimum wage for your work. Now, the problem is, and why they can get away with that, is this. In the 13th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, it says that slavery is abolished, except, see that the except clause in the 13th Amendment allows slavery in prison. It said, except if you are convicted of a crime. You understand? So when you go to prison and they want you to work and make you work, that is slavery due to the 13th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. Slavery is just not legal for anybody, one of us, to have a slave, right? Anybody can, no, you can't do that. You go to prison. But the prison system is still run like a slave plantation. This is why you have more black men who are arrested and put in jail. And the proof of that, also about wrongful convictions, is that black men lead in exonerations. This is why they target black men, definitely from poor communities. They don't have the proper legal representation. They don't have the opportunities that they should have, with work and things like that. And they may get into some things they shouldn't get into. Now, there's some people that commit crimes and they definitely belong in there. But there are people that don't really belong in there. And then the system is so set up is that when you get out, you can't get a job because employers can legally discriminate against you because you have a prison record. Now, certain records you probably would want around you. I mean, listen, I wouldn't want nobody working around me that, violated children. Hell no, I can't deal with that. But let's say this brother, changed his life around. Let's say he went to jail, because, hey, he was in some sort of gang war or whatever, and it was either him or the other person. He had to do what he had to do. But he changed his life around. Hey, man, what could I say about that one at that point? He had to ask God for forgiveness for that. Could he do a good job? Is he going to be faithful? Is he going to do the right thing? Just because a person got a record don't mean they're a bad person. It's wrong to discriminate against somebody that have a criminal record. It's wrong. Certain things, like I said, you may can say, I don't know if I want that kind of person with a crime, because the thing is about violators, you can't really rehabilitate them, especially the ones that do that to children, women. No, no. You have to be depraved to do that sort of thing. But these brothers are saying, no, we're not going to work. And how they retaliating? They feeding them twice a day. They feeding them 2 sandwiches a day. That's how they're retaliating against them. and the Department of Justice haven't done anything about it or addressing it at all. And this, like I say, what happens in America, the way the laws is set up is a screwed up system. I'm telling you, because you go to other countries, the president has a lot of say so and a lot of power. In this country, the president do have some say so and definitely have power, but that states' rights crap that was pushed in the South, and that was only pushed because they wanted to make sure to keep white supremacy going in the South. Because the president should be able to go in there and say, you know what, this is about to happen. Move the governor, okay, we ain't listening to you right now. We're going to do what we want to do here as the president of the United States. Yes, the feds can go in and do what they want to do to a point. Yes, they can. But it's still certain protocols. They could file lawsuits. They can do all kinds of things to stop the president of the United States from doing certain things. Because some people do think that the president is like have all the power. That's not the way it works. In this country, at least, it's not the way it works. But I'm definitely standing with those brothers, fight, for equal and fair treatment. Because you should not be working for $1 a day. No. That means if you work for 12 hours, you only got paid $12. That's not no money. That's not no money at all. That money that they make should be minimum wage and go into their books. They can work to keep money on their books. Like people especially don't have nobody sending them any money. If they work and get minimum wage on their books, hey, okay, cool. They all good in there. No problem. But that's not the way they want this system to run. And the reason why you have people go back to prison is because there's no true rehabilitation in this system. They bank on them coming back to the American jail system. America lock up more people than China, and China had billions of people there, and America got more people locked up than them. But this country needs slave labor in the jails. That's how they run it. Everything has to be off of slavery. And if they can't get slave labor in the jails, they're using immigrants that just got here yesterday, and they treating them bad too. They are. It's just not reported all the time. Having them picking the crops and all of that. There's many videos that have been coming out of Alabama, jails. Some of that I probably will cover, but on our website, I can't show some of the videos, here on YouTube. But yeah, you got to make sure we look into what's happening with our brothers, in Alabama, state prison, because not everybody over there, did something heinous. They put black people in jail for literally nothing.